And that segues nicely into our friends and foes segment because the friend is going to be your trainer, the late Verne Gagne. How did you come to train under Verne, Nate? How did you meet him and what were the circumstances?
Well, I knew Greg from high school. Greg went to Wayzata or Minnetonka High School, I think Wayzata. And I met Greg some over on campus and all that when I was in college. I think Greg transferred to Wyoming. And I was there to play football at Minnesota until my grade point average didn't appeal to the dean or to the coach. But then I met Ken Patera, as I told you, at a club called George's in the Park, and I'm going to see Ken this Saturday actually, at Icons of Wrestling in Philly. And Ken Patera is the reason I'm in the business. He said to Verne, I'm living with Ric Flair. He said, Flair, I know that name. He said, yeah, he's apparently a friend of your son, Greg's. He said he wants to be a wrestler too. So I lived with Ken for 2 years. He went off, 72 Olympics, and the idea, and Verne sponsored him. The idea was that if he came back with a gold medal, he'd be called the world's strongest man. Well, 6 weeks before the games, he had to have orthoscopic knee surgery. So 3 weeks he couldn't train because everything was with your knees with Olympic lifting. So with 3 weeks of training, after being off for 3 weeks, he still won the bronze medal. But he clearly would have won a gold medal had he not been injured. Just a great guy. And man, he's been through some traumatic, situations in life. That thing with Saito and just that, a couple years in prison as a result of some stupid incident at a McDonald's. And then to have, he's got both shoulders replaced, both hips replaced, both knees replaced, and his body has taken a toll on him. What people don't realize about Ken, he was also the alternate on the 72 team in track and field. He threw the shot 68 feet at BYU. So if you make it Olympic team in two sports, you're probably a pretty good athlete.
I would say so. By the way, I just glanced at the lineup for Icons of Wrestling. Your old buddy Shane Douglas is going to be there. I think that should be your final match. You and the Dean.
Oh, he's working, huh?
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll say hi. we always shake hands and walk our own way.
Now, when you started training, were you a wrestling fan per se? Was this something you wanted?
Yes.
Oh, you were always a wrestling fan.
Yeah, but nothing I ever dreamt that I'd be involved in. Yeah, I loved watching wrestling. Are you kidding me? I dragged my dad down there. Dad, come watch, Crusher, the Bruiser, Verne Gagne, Butch Levy, Leo Namalini, Ilio DePaolo, Carpentier, Wilbert Snyder. I mean, the guys that came through Minneapolis were just fabulous. It's a Hall of Fame in itself. And eventually I got to meet all those guys. Mad Dog Vachon, who I became really good friends with. Gagne, if you want the title back, meet me in the ring. Gagne.
Now, what was the main thrust of Verne's training? Conditioning was a huge part of it, obviously.
Oh, my God. Insane. We had no idea. I was like at the house saying I was going to be like Dick the Bruiser, the Crusher. Oh, I know. I'm not saying they couldn't have at one time, but they certainly couldn't run 2 miles, do 500 free squats, 200 push-ups, and 200 crunches. It took me 6 hours. I'm betting neither one could have done it, period. But they were later in life. And at one time, the Bruiser, Dick Afflis, played football for the Packers. He was a good athlete. So that, I don't know what the Crusher's background is, but Dick Afflis was a good pro football player, or average.
Now, we had the Crusher in Pittsburgh. He was a rival for Bruno Sammartino
Sure.
when I was a kid. So I have many memories of him as well.
The bolo punch. Hey, I'm going to meet you guys. He was talking about, when I started talking about the women, it's because I heard him talking about the dollies at the saloon in Milwaukee. I'll meet my dollies at the saloon in Milwaukee.
Now, you quit at one point, right? You just went home.
Twice. One, I didn't show up. First time he came and got me, slapped me across the face, threw me out in the front yard. told me I quit everything in the world. I wasn't going to quit him. And the second time, I was just about, I got through the 2 miles, and I was just saying to myself, you know, he's not watching. I'm just going to get in my car and go and hide. Have to check in a hotel. But by the ear, so it was a learning experience. But the whole thing, it's something I look back on now. I don't know how I did it, but even when I go to train now with Rob, John Cena's guy who I train with regularly, you get I find myself being able to go back and find that inner, whatever that was that drove me to do that, because I did those 500 squats. There was no such thing as Stairmasters and that when we started, right? Treadmills. Then, of course, all this equipment has come along and all technology has changed. But I did those 500 free squats every day for 20 years until they invented a Stairmaster.
Now, who did you train with?
I still do them now once in a while.
Who did you train with besides Verne? Who were the other teachers at Verne's facility?
Don Morocco, Joe Scarpello, who was a national champion at Iowa. Don Morocco, Jimmy came out there and Billy Robinson.
What was Billy Robinson like? Because he was a legitimately tough guy, a shooter, and he was known for being a bully in a situation like that.
He beat us all up. He did. But I didn't think him being a bully. He just wanted to let us know that he could kick our ass, which he could. You know the story about the Sheik. He kept telling the Sheik was a certifiable great amateur wrestler, freestyle and Greco-Roman. And he'd won the AU Nationals in the 220-pound weight class at a body weight of 190 pounds prior to coming out to training there. And Robinson said, I can turn you over, and he couldn't. You know, when you lay on your stomach with freestyle wrestling or Olympic wrestling,
right.
Yeah, the idea is to turn you over to score points. Robinson couldn't turn him over, so I told him to get in a referee's position. So he got up in a referee's position, his knees planted, his feet planted, and Robinson dropped a knee into the side of his leg. I thought it killed him. He couldn't get practice for a month. His whole leg swelled up with black and blue.
Now that's the Iron Sheik, right? Not Eddie Farhat.
No, that's Iron Sheik Khosrow. Yeah,
Khosrow, yeah.
I see Khosrow periodically.
See,
now.
that's what I mean, though. That's a dick move by Billy Robinson, because that is being a bully, Nate. That's taking advantage of a defenseless guy.
Listen, they used to put us down and cross-face the crap out of us, Mark. It was tough to get back in the business back then. The guys, I say people couldn't do it now, but I say that in a way that why would they want to? Okay? Because back then, I think I was making $50 a night, driving 3,000 miles. So really, who would want to do that? And would you say to your child, hey, go be a pro wrestler, to go through something like that? But it made us all tougher, made us all better. I mean, he would wrestle us into an exhaustion and then put us on our back and put it like a sugar on us, where we couldn't move our arms.
Right.
And then make you fight to get out of it for 2 minutes. And you're wearing a parka because you're 30 degrees or 28 degrees. You can't breathe, you're blowing up, and you can't get away. I mean, that's the kind of stuff they do with the guys in SEAL training. The only thing he didn't do was handcuff us and throw us some water over our head.
Well,
thank God. I wouldn't have come back after that.
How often were you in the ring with Verne? Because I don't think you ever had an actual match with Verne, did you?
I did, yeah, on TV.
Really?
I sure did, yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah. Hey, he treated me good. Verne Gagne was tougher than hell,
Oh, yeah, legitimate NCAA champion, all that.
Absolutely, yeah, an Olympic alternate. Yeah, he was tougher than shit. Verne punched out. I can remember, I guess that Bill Watts gave him some shit at the NWA convention one time, and Verne let him have it right there in the fucking lobby of the hotel. Yeah, Verne's afraid of nobody. He pulled Don Eagle, this wrestler named Don Eagle, out who did something smart with the ring. He pulled him out from the bottom of a car in downtown Minneapolis. He was hiding under a car to get away from Verne, and beat the crap out of him on Hennepin Avenue. Oh yeah, Verne was tougher than shit.
Now, did Verne stress amateur style wrestling? I mean, what did he want from the guys he trained?
Well, you like the amateur stuff, but you know what's funny, and he probably he loved it. He didn't love it then, but he said, "So what have you learned that you liked the most?" So me, I was so fascinated with Dusty and Dick Murdoch, who were both there at the time, right? And I fell in love with those guys, Dusty especially. But Murdoch and I were very close. And Murdoch, ladies and gentlemen, was one of the greatest workers I've ever known.
Yep, for sure
So
he was.
Dick Murdoch will always be in the top 10. But he said, "What have you learned?" And everybody learned all this stuff. And I went across. I did the elbow drop from Dusty. He said, "Get out of here." After all this, that's your favorite move? I think he wanted to slap me right there.
Now, your name, Ric Flair, right off the bat, correct?
What's that?
Your ring name was Ric
Yeah.
Flair right off the bat, right?
Yeah, I wanted to change it. He said, He said, "Ric Flair's a cool name." I said, "It is?" I said, "I want to be Ramblin' Ricky Rhodes." He said, "No way." I wanted to be Dusty's brother.
Now, it was originally
Hey,
RIC.
I'll tell you what's funny. So about a year ago, I was at pre-COVID, maybe 2 years ago, I was with Terry Bradshaw at a signing. And Terry Bradshaw said, "Ric Flair," he said, "You got the coolest name in sports, Ric Flair. I like that." So then I thought back to Verne, because he said, "Yeah, just spell it differently. Go with Ric Flair." And that's how we left it.
It was originally RICK Flair. What made you decide to drop the K? Because that became very
Just
distinctive.
It looked cooler. Just
Go.
cosmetically, it looked cooler.
How long did your training take? How long did you actually train with Verne before you were, quote unquote, a professional wrestler?
Either 60 or 80 days.
That's not that long.
No.
It
But
probably seemed a lot longer.
5 days a week, it was, yeah. Especially, it was not inside a bar. It was, in November, it's 20 degrees in Minneapolis. 29 right now, as a matter of fact. So you're training in a barn, and you learn how to take a backdrop by jumping off the second floor of a hayloft into a hayloft. I mean, it's just a different way of learning, but it
I'll
worked.
say,